Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another inspiring episode of BizTalks Unplugged, candid conversations on business, presented by INR, the Insight Room, where we open the floor to unrestricted, unscripted dialogues for curious business minds. Today, we have with us Mr. Naveen Pandey, Head of Compliance at BharatPe, a distinguished leader whose journey through India's leading fintech and banking institutions like Cred, PhonePe, Paytm, and Neo Solutions has nothing been short of extraordinary. With over a decade of rich experience in regulatory compliance, AML, risk management, and financial governance, Mr. Pandey has been at the forefront of building secure and transparent financial ecosystems that define the digital economy of today. From steering complex compliance frameworks to fostering ethical innovations, he continues to demonstrate what it truly means to be a leader with integrity and innovation in the world of fintech. His leadership embodies resilience, precision, and the relentless pursuit of progress and responsibility beyond edges. Beyond corporate walls, our guest remains a mentor and a motivator for aspiring professionals, inspiring them to lead with principle, purpose, and professionalism. Welcome, sir. It's an absolute honor to have you with us today. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Sajan. What a lovely introduction. This nice. So as you know, I'm in the industry for close to 10 years now, no more than 10 years now. But in my recent last 1 year have been quite dramatic, I would say. I have switched multiple companies in last 1 year, and that's not because of the companies; it's because of the family reasons and stuff like that. But anyway, I have few slides. I just don't want to bore you guys with the slides, but I asked one of my colleague to prepare some slides so that I have something to talk about. So I'll just present my screen. Let me know when you all can see it. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Perfectly.
Okay. All right. I want to keep this as a freewheeling discussion wherein you guys will also interact. I will also interact. I will take the questions, of course, at the end of the session, but in between, if you feel like do you have any question, if you are curious about something, please do feel free to stop me, and wherever needed, I'll try to take those questions. Okay, so change. You all must have come from different background. Somebody would have studied humanities, somebody from commerce background, somebody from science, right? Somebody would be, most of you, I believe, must be BTechs. That's the trend which was there when I was at the college. So I imagine most of you would be BTechs. But having said that, because you guys are coming from different backgrounds and starting MBA, which is more of a business professional course, you might have learned different things while you were undergrads. Now you have to change a bit and move towards more of a business mindset, and that's what I'm going to take you through these slides. This is my personal journey. Before my MBA, I was working with a company called SpiceJet. Uh, Many of you would have flown through those SpiceJet flights, but I was into SpiceJet for 1 year, and then I joined FMS for my MBA. Now it is IMBHU. In my times, it was FMS. And as you can see, in 10 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different companies I work for. And these are bigger brands. If you are using these apps, I believe you must be using one or the other apps out of these. So I was working with Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. I moved to another startup called Neo. Then I joined PhonePe. I worked with Cred also. Kunal Shah, I know you would have seen some of the podcasts. So Cred, very young company, and very agile in terms of the way they operate. For a very small stint, I was with Paytm, and now I'm heading the compliance at BharatPe. And raise of hand for how many of you bunk classes? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Nice. I like it. Yeah. So people do bunk classes, but if you are not in classes, where are you guys present then? That's the second question I have.
So mostly, may I take this answer? So mostly we are usually in the library section only, but that's limited to a few individuals. I believe it's a varnished, not an unvarnished truth, but more like a varnished truth, I would say. Usually, people are exploring the ghats, the cafes, and the new canteen of the IIT BHU. And there are a few individuals who would likely divert their attention to getting much more and more certification, usually of the NISMs, to excel within their own careers. So yeah, we do bunk classes, but I would say that somehow if there are people, a total of three or four students largely in the class, the even if the class gets scheduled, we get the attendance and things just move on. So bunks are usually happening like that only.
No. That's you. That usually happens. I mean, not new to me. I think I have also bunk classes, but as a mat, if you're not present in the class, I think if you are present at a better place, which is making you a better person, that is more important rather than just bunking in the class and doing time pass. That's not going to help. So if you're present at a better place, please do that.
We are
It's not about that
we
you will
gonna
always only learn in class. Yeah,
we are
yeah, Akash.
actually going to present more on site for 1 year in the valuation school for valuations and learning and all the valuation all because I think this is a new way to learn the things because what we have studied from the books is definitely not going to apply in the current market scenario. So what we used to do that we used to make a 2 3 student of peer group and then we go for a library to learn the valuation and all. So we used to subscribe the valuation school, the edX platform, and then go for that learning.
Nice. Anyone else wants to add to it? Or I can just go back to my presentation otherwise. Okay. I'll take that as a no then. All right. Let me know a few slides when I want to talk specifically about my work area, which is compliance. So compliance, as you know, it's not restricted to one area or one bit of it. It is anything that we are doing in our business. And because I'm into a fintech space, which is a mix of tech as well as the financial services or the financial world. So there are multiple regulators who are sitting on top of us, who keep issuing licenses, keep issuing warnings, keep issuing circulars, guidance, directives, right? All that comes to us, and we need to ensure as I'm the head of compliance, so I need to ensure that each of my regulators are happy, uh, and my internal teams are also happy and comfortable about ensuring compliances to those directives which are coming from these regulations. So on the right side, you have government because so how laws are made in India. So we have Lok Sabha, we have Rajya Sabha, wherein a normal bill gets presented, which becomes an act. So all acts which are coming through Parliament, which government is passing, those are statutory acts for us, and those comes under the statutory compliances when I look at the specific clauses which comes from a government bill or act, right? And then we have specific regulator for the specific products that we are offering. RBI, as you know, is the biggest regulator of the financial companies, banks. So there are multiple licenses which RBI issues. If I talk of fintechs, normally all the fintechs in India are having a license which is called a payment aggregator license or PA. And alongside it also issues license like PPI. There is something called as OPGSP. There is something called as PACB. So there are multiple set of licenses which RBI issues apart from the normal commercial banking license. So you see all the commercial banks which are in India. So there are public sector banks, there are private sector banks. All these are licensed by RBI. You cannot run a bank without getting a license. Similarly, you cannot run a licensed product without getting a license from RBI. Like we also have PPI, PA, or TPAP license from NPCI, right? So there are multiple licenses that we have. And with those licenses, so with great power comes greater responsibility. So with all these licenses which RBI has issued, they also issue directives and circulars, which gets implemented in our day-to-day operations. When we, I'll get into the details in the coming slides, but this is just a warm up to who are the regulators that I am personally dealing with. So RBI is the biggest one. Then you have SEBI, which is Security and Exchange Board of India. So if you are if you look at stock markets, so there are different players in the market. There are stock brokers, there are investment advisors, there are portfolio managers, right? So all these are also licensed players. So we offer all of it through an app, while there are offline. So there is online, there is offline. We offer all of it through an app. So that's how SEBI gives us license, and we operate in that market. Then we don't issue pension fund as of now, but if we start issuing pension funds, so PFRDA directives will also needs to get complied with. Then we have NPCI. I believe everybody, each one of you must be using UPI, which is really the poster child of our government. Whenever we go outside of India, everybody is talking about UPI, and there is no other country, I would say, in the world which has become so big in the payment space. We are the largest, we are the biggest, and NPCI has taken a lot of giant leaps when it comes to payments. If you look at NPCI, I'll talk about the specific products wherein the innovation has really played a big role when I move to the other slides. But so we have NPCI. There are license from NPCI that we have got. There's something called as TPAP, which is third party application provider. So if you see apps like whatever companies I have worked with, just don't want to quote any names, but you must be using one or the other app. Then you have IRDAI. So IRDAI also issues licenses. So there are insurers who are making insurance products, and then there are distributors. So in distributor also there are multiple categories. There's something called as corporate agency, something called as insurance broker, something called as telemarketer. So there are multiple licenses again in the insurance space. Then there is a institute called FIU India. It comes under Ministry of Finance, and it is basically a financial intelligence unit wherein all regulated entities. So when I say regulated entities, it means banks, fintechs, everybody, or each one of the entities which has got one or the other license from these regulatory bodies. They need to ensure their platforms are not being used for money laundering. And if we find anything suspicious, we need to report it to FIU India. Then if you are distributing mutual funds, so there's something called as MFI, which regulates the mutual fund industry as a distributor. So they give the mutual fund distributor license. That's more on the regulatory stuff. So these are the different regulators. And there are a few more which are small regulators or the quasi regulators which are also there, which we deal with. Now the future of compliance. Obviously today, if I look at the number of compliances which are applicable to a fintech, there are 10,000 different line items which needs to get complied with. So there are simple line items, there are complex line items, and for a compliance officer or for any head of the function, it's very difficult to keep track of all of it. And that's where the RegTech or the AI and ML stuff comes into play. Now the compliance role, which earlier was all about putting everything in Excel and then going after people and tracking it, but now it is moving towards more of an AI stuff, wherein I don't want any person sitting and doing this job while machines can do it for me. If I talk of the key regulatory trends, so there is something called as DPDP Act, which has come in 2023. Very soon, I think within by end of this year, we'll also have the rules. So there is something called as Act, and there is something called as rules. So all acts come and tells you what is to be done. Rules are more in detail, wherein they talk about how it is to be done. So rules will be there very soon, which I keep hearing. So privacy is a very big stuff for all the companies which are dealing with the personal information, sensitive information, health information of the user, because you might use it. So you, as a company, you need to use it responsibly, and government is coming up with these acts and rules to enforce this on the companies. We have seen examples wherein privacy breach has led to a lot of negative stuff in the society and in the market. So people are serious about it. In fact, our government is also serious about it. So this is gonna be a very big task, and and this is going to apply to every company, not only fintech. You talk about Instagram, Facebook, or let's say any bank, or let's say any school which is collecting some data, any hospital. So everywhere. So this application is everywhere. Although for companies which are collecting more data, the responsibility increases, but it is gonna get applied across the industries, across the companies, and this is how this is gonna play. Then digital lending is something which is also very hot topic in the town, wherein if you see there are multiple apps in the market which are giving loans based on the data they are collecting on the app. So there is a backend AI which is doing the modeling and then doing the underwriting stuff. So there is some bit of talk about the digital lending which is also happening. So compliance, which was earlier, as I told you, was more of an Excel tracking, has become more like a strategic function in the companies. And I personally see, there is a different way of looking at compliance. So earlier people were looking at compliance as, the blockers. Okay, if you go to compliance, things will gonna get slow, things will get blocked. Now the role has shifted and it is more like an enabler, because if you don't do it right at the first time, it's gonna impact later on. So it is very important for all the companies to understand that, and that's one of the fight which every compliance person will have with all the product managers, business managers, all the leaders in the company, right? Uh, so if you are interested, if you want to get into compliance or a risk role in any company, let me tell you, it's initially for 4 5 years or maybe 6 years, I would say. It's a lot going to be about understanding the stuff, because unless you do it, you won't learn it. So you have to understand, read a lot. I don't know, at the start of my career, I was doing one training for the bank. I mean, this training was basically for all the branch employees when I was with this bank. So I would have read maybe close to 2000 RBI circulars during that time. And I'm talking of initial 2 3 years when I joined the company. So, and that gives a lot of learning to you also. As a person, you will learn. And while you learn, you also train people. So, and if you train people, again, you learn out of it as well. So if you want to get into the compliance and risk role, uh, first of all, you should have a data-driven mindset, because there's a lot of data that is there in the systems. You as a compliance person or as a risk person need to ensure that how do you make a meaningful information out of it. How many customers are coming and using your platform on a daily basis? How these customers are using it? What is the behavioral analysis? Do you want to generate some kind of risk score, that what kind of, because every business, every customer, and you are dealing with people's money, so it brings a lot of risk to you. So you do risk scoring of the customers based on their behavior on the app, based on their purchases and stuff like that. So you need to have a data driven mindset first. Let me know if I'm going fast, Srijan. Please do feel free to stop me, or
Yes,
I'll.
perfectly placed.
Okay, all right. Then, as I told you, you should have a legal and regulatory acumen. So I don't know if anybody is from the legal background in the in this session right now, but if you want to get into this role, you have to understand the legal space, how are laws made in India, what sort of regulators are there, and what sort of powers do they have to control the multiple businesses in the multiple sectors. So you need to understand that communication and negotiation, that is so given. That is not only for this role, for any other role that you say. If for a compliance specifically, because a lot of your interaction is going to be with the business teams and the product teams, who are the leaders in the company. So you should negotiate well when you're reading laws and when you are understanding the business. So there it becomes very important for you to understand their side of things as well. So that's how communication and negotiation is going to help. And then process thinking. So it's not about just making a product and moving away. It's all about making sure that product is repeatedly getting success, and all systems which are working in the background are auditable. So everything should get logged. If today I have pressed a button on an app, system should have an entry of it saying, okay, this is the log which has been captured, and this was the button, this was pressed at this particular point of time. So there should be a date time stamp and everything and stuff like that, which should be there. So you have to have all these skills basically to get into compliance or a risk role. If you want to, if you are looking at a career in a compliance or a risk role. This is, I think, this is more of a generic thing wherein how do you master your interview? In any company, I think initially we talked about there are companies which are visiting the campus right now. So first of all, any company which is coming to the campus, you have to do your homework. You have to do a research about what is this company doing, and if at all it is in the regulatory space, you also need to understand what sort of regulators are there who are issuing license to these companies, and how are these companies operating. Then if in an interview, let's say if it is a compliance interview, and if they give you a scenario, so you have to come up with some kind of innovative solution wherein you talk about where business does not get hampered and compliance also is taken care of. You have to offer compliant alternative instead of no. So it is very easy to say no to any new process which comes in. As a compliance head, or there are multiple members in my team, there are a lot of business issues or problems which do comes to us on a daily basis. We cannot say no to everything just by reading a regulation in plain English. We have to find out solutions there, and that's where strategic thinking comes into play. And show transferable skills, which is use your MBA projects to prove the process and risk skill that you have. So maybe if you guys are interested, I will try to connect you with some people who do give these projects to MBA students and interns who can basically learn about how risk and the compliance role works, right? So that's on the interview side. This is my personal favorite. I asked one of my colleague to basically write, okay, what are the 3 C's when I started my career? Okay, so this is my personal favorite. Curiosity, commitment, and cross-functional empathy. Curiosity means keep asking why. So everything which comes, and this is more for a compliance role or a risk role. Every business person or the product person will come up with one or the other product or a business process to be upgraded, to be changed, or for altogether a new product maybe. So you have to ask this question, why this product, and that's how you will have to start your conversation. Now commitment, and it's not about that, it's about anything that you do. Commitment, which is grind and learn continuously. So again, as I told you, I read 2000 circular within 2 years of my start of my career in a bank, and it requires a lot of reading, a lot of understanding, a lot of discussions and debate. So it has to be a continuous commitment that you have to make to yourself, that yes, you want to do it. Then cross-functional empathy, it's again very important for a compliance function, wherein you have to speak the language of product, of tech, of finance, so that you are able to convince them. Otherwise, things will not move in your direction. It will move into some other direction. Then MBA is not a small game; it's a long game, and it's going to be a long career. You guys must be between the age of, let's say, 21 to 25, I would imagine. So, and considering retirement age is around 58 or 60, so you have to work for 30-35 years if you are looking to get into this space. So you have to have a foundational growth first, and then your work life balance and stuff like that also will also come into play as you age old. Let's say you are coming to your late 40s, or maybe a new generation will come which is smarter, faster than you, right? And they will do things faster than you. So how will you keep a pace up with that? So you need to also continuously learn how new generations are behaving, what sort of new innovations are happening, what sort of new businesses are coming in, right? So it's a long game, it's not a short game. You have to keep the ball rolling, and you have to ensure you are keeping up with the game. And this is the last slide which I have is the financial world is being rebuilt on the rails of technology, because tech is something which is making our lives easier, but as well as complex. And as a compliance person, your job is to ensure those rails are fast, safe, and ethical. So this is the last slide which I have. I will just open the floor for the questions or maybe anything you guys want to talk about. I'll just stop the screen. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the your presentation. It was quite well. Sir, a few questions from your presentation. I have just get it down. You have talked about the digital lending. Yes, sir. We have seen the apps and many things where the percentage has been raised from 30 to 40% when there was no collateral given to a customer. And we have also seen the rise in NPAs in India as well. So, do you think that increasing the spending power of an Indian consumer by giving such a loan of non-collateral things in a digital form can actually hamper anything, or as a product manager, do you have a compliance side? Do you think of that kind, or just you think to make your company profitable?
No, so sorry, I missed the last bit. So can you just repeat it?
Yes, sir. Means giving so much of spending power to an Indian consumer, we know that we have going to a number of NPAs. Do you, as a compliance head, think that okay, we are going to have NPA, so we have to recover it, or it's our responsibility to recover the NPA, or you just have to make ensure that yes, at the end of the day, your company should be profitable.
See, first of all, we are all working for a company. We are drawing salary from our company, so we need to ensure our companies are profitable. We cannot work in a company which is losing money and then we're drawing salaries from there. So first of all, company should be profitable. That's one of the agenda that we have. But you talked about the rising NPAs in India. Yes, NPAs are there on the rise, but we are also seeing from an app perspective that there are a lot of alternate data that we are capturing on a particular customer or a user, right? So it's not only about his income, but also his behavior, the what kind of other apps which this person is using, what is his purchase behavior, what is his location, because we are capturing a lot of other alternative information on the user, so we know more about the user than the user himself. So from a digital lending perspective, there are models which are there and which is consuming I just have taken few examples, but there are more data points which these models are capturing, and based on these data models we are deciding, okay, this is going to be the eligibility for this user, and that's how we are giving the loans. But yes, with again, as I told you, that without risk there is no business. And if you are lending, you have to you know that there will be some customers who will default, but at the end of the day, it's all about the balance. You cannot have 50% of the portfolio as NPA, right? If it is a small percentage, you have to live with it. I mean, you cannot because it's not going to be 100% money. It's not going to come back, and it's all about keeping that balance.
And sir, you just got me a wonder from your answer. The model, sir. Actually, I was getting into the things in the fintech and learning about the NBFC from the last year. The From the banks I have what I have learned that they generally have an NPAs or the shortcoming from the 5 C's we learn. That yes, we just have NPA of 0.6% or 1 to 2% of NPAs from the loan they give. From the I talked to the branch manager, region manager, NBFCs they said we just get the 4 to 5% of the risk. How does that model is being made, sir? I mean, how you see like okay, we will lend this amount of money to a consumer, and if he or she will not default, how that thing is being captured as a model?
That
Means
is
because
that's the trade secret which which I cannot reveal, but I would say so. Again, this model is it's again, if you look at the rise of AI, right? Uh, there is huge amount of data which is getting captured in the back end. System knows a lot of stuff. All when I say a lot. I don't know. If, you guys must be using Instagram, which is everybody is using, and the way the kind of feed which you are getting, and the feed which you are getting is because you have also already seen a similar feed, and you would have shown interest and you would have watched it for a particular period of time, and that's how they are coming and recommending those feeds to you, and you are spending more time there, and this endless scrolling goes on, right? So these models, I would not comment on how this model works, but uh, as of now, wherever I have worked, models have really worked well. Okay, I'll ask a question to you. Okay, it's a very I would say trivial question, but I'll still ask it. Uh, okay, so let's say you're in a fintech company, and you are, let's say, you are head of compliance, and it's a question to all. It's not only to Akash. It's a question to all. Uh, so you are the head of compliance, and let's say your model, which is used and which is doing the lending, uh, it is biased towards specific group of people. So let's say it is not giving loans to minority communities. Let's say it is only biased towards particular specific people. Who will you held responsible for this? Is it the product manager? Is it the data scientist? Or is it the head of compliance who signed off on this particular model of lending? How will you answer this question, and who should be responsible for this?
Can be a part of data scientist because I think the model is being the product manager have to work on that way means to make the product on a better side. The use is getting from the data science is basically maybe the that the model should be on the verge of that part basically.
Okay,
Uh,
others.
So it may be because the data on which it
So
was
Akash
trained.
is saying it's data scientist who is the person responsible for this. Shashi, what's your answer?
So the bias is due to the data that it is being trained on. So it's the responsibility of the data scientists that they include representation from all like they include a fair representation of all the sections. So if the data itself is corrupted, it is going to give a biased answer or biased judgment of the whatever we need to do it. So data scientist is the first one, and then even after we develop the model, we must have someone to check for it, to check it like whether it is functioning properly. So the compliance officer is also a part of this.
Okay. Anyone has a different answer, or I don't know who else is there on the call?
Sir, I think in
Yeah.
such cases, we cannot blame on one single person. In such scenario, I think the accountability is shared here. For example, if we talk about the data scientist, his job is to ensure whether the model is fair. And when we talk about the product manager, his job is for the design choices. And the head of compliance will be looking overall thing, what is happening. So I think in such regulated environments, the ultimate responsibility usually rests with the compliance head. And also, like if we talk about a bigger picture, it's usually shared among all of them. So not one single person can be blamed.
So you will hold my callers, huh? Okay. Anyway, so there is.
Final line of defense, of course.
Sorry. Yes, Vijan. Go on.
So you are the final line of defense, of course.
yes, sir.
Final line of defense. Okay. Any different answer? Who else is there on the call? There are 7 others. 1 second. Let me see. I think I don't see. Nitya is there. Swati is there. Karam, Harsh. Guys, feel free to speak. I want to keep this as a freewheeling discussion. Just don't want to restrict it to few of them. Srijanto, anyway, I have started with sir and then now elder bro. So I don't know. I'll just tell these guys also. So Srijan, when he messaged me for the first time, he said, "Sir, I want to have a session and stuff like that." I said, "Okay, let's have that session." And then second message, "Okay, sure, elder bro." So, but okay, anyway, I like it. I also feel young if you call me bro. That's okay. All right. So the answer to that question is Manasi, Akash, Shashi, all of you are right. There is no specific person, and it's a very safe answer to say, Manasi, that it's not the one single person. Everybody is responsible, and it's a very safe answer. But see, the ultimate responsibility lies with the compliance function. We are the one who are reviewing these models, who there are specific people in my team who are reviewing these models and giving a sign off. And we need to ensure that this model cannot be biased. RBI will not rip us apart if we are not serious about it. If you look at the reports which come from RBI, they also talk about giving loans to minorities, to the tribal sections, right? And they are very serious about it because financial inclusion is something which is very important to them. When this Jandan accounts were getting opened, why this came up? Because they wanted everybody to have a bank account, and they want to include everybody who is the citizen of the country to be included in the financial ecosystem. Everybody should have a bank account. Everybody should get loan when they want it, right? Provided they have an intention to repay. So, so that's how it's gonna work.
So we have a couple of questions. If you
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the personal three C's: curiosity, commitment, and cross-functional empathy that really resonate with modern leadership. So could you share a real-life example where the said empathy towards product, tech, or finance teams led to a stronger compliance outcome within your own journey? Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, perfectly.
So when I was a region, I was fortunate that I had very good leaders and managers in the team who were ready to trust me. So initially, it was all about because I was in a compliance. So when I joined, I was in a risk function. I was doing more of a liquidity risk for the bank, which was basically the structural liquidity and the interest rate sensitivity and stuff like that, which is more of how is bank gonna survive for next 5 years, what is the cash inflows and outflows for the bank. That is the stuff which I was doing. And while I was doing that, there was new head of compliance who joined the company, and he asked me, I am looking for someone to set up the AML and the compliance function, would you be rather interested? So as a fresh graduate, anything new comes up, okay, give it to me, I'll do it. So I took that as a challenge. Initially, it was all about the burning the midnight oil. I was spending close to slogging around 10, 11 hours in office, and it was start of the career. So I was, and after going back home, also I only had one thing to do is play FIFA with my friends on PS. So it's all about, okay, instead of doing that, let me do this stuff. So did that stuff, ensured that bank's AML function was set up. There was tool which was implemented to ensure that there are STR filing and alert generation, stuff like that, which was happening. Read a lot of circulars during the process, imparted a lot of trainings to all the branch employees of the bank. And then when I moved from Ujjivan, I joined another company called Neo. I don't know if you have seen those ads in the IPL of Neo Global Card. That's where, so Ujjivan initial 3 years was all about learning the stuff, how bank functions and how compliance functions. And in a Neo, which was more of a startup, it was all about leading that function and implementing all that stuff there. So when I joined Neo, I started hiring people, ensured that these people are also trained enough to take their roles. So Ujjivan, then Neo, then PhonePe is I would say the bigger milestone for me, because that's how I have personally grown, because this company PhonePe was more about the innovation and more focused on the product. And I was fortunate enough to lead one of the function which was called as new product risk assessment. So every new product which is there on the app that you see was basically reviewed by my team, and I had a team. So it was more of a collaborative effort wherein there was a team for fraud risk, there was a team of legal risk, and all these teams were collaborating and reviewing those products. So I was fortunate enough to work there for 4 years, and during the process learned a lot. Then I joined Cred as head of compliance. But it was not, I could not complete a year because by then my family had moved to Gurgaon. So from Bangalore, I had to make a move to Gurgaon. I was desperate to move because I have a very young daughter. She's just 2 years now. So I had to make that move. And Paytm came as a break. But Paytm, good company, good people to work with. But I got an opportunity at BharatPe to again head the function of compliance. So I said it's better to stay in a role which I am enjoying more. So that's how it is. So last 2-3 months I'm in BharatPe. and enjoying every bit of it.
So one more question there is, taking into account your decade-long journey, how has the regulators' attitude towards the fintech evolved in the last 10 years, and what does that mean for the startups today?
So regulators are obviously have become more serious. There are a lot of frauds, cyber frauds, and stuff like that, which is happening. There are a lot of mild practices which some of the apps have done in the past, and regulators have become more serious. But because this AI is, just knocking at the door, and anytime, I mean, in next 5-7 years, I am seeing the scenario getting changed with the use of AI. So regulators are also, taking baby steps there, asking people to make responsible use of AI, because you never know what road it might take you to. So with AI, I think the job of regulators is going to be very, very important. But other stuff which they have been doing for, so if I talk of RBI, they are in the business since 1935, right? And it's around and 1949 when Banking Regulation Act came. So technically, they are 75-80 years of experience in terms of regulating the space. And if I have to quote one example, if you look at other countries wherein capital adequacy ratio is a little lesser, wherein in India it's a little higher, even though Basel norms are talking differently. So regulators are going to get more, power with the use of AI also, but they are also talking of making a responsible use of AI. So that's how it is going to be. I think somebody raised a hand. Abhishek.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon, sir. So, sir, my question is, like you mentioned about the 3 C's that you told: curiosity, commitment, and cross-functional empathy. So I would like to ask, like, these things really resonate with me as a marketing student. So I would like to ask, like, which of these do you think marketers most often underestimate, and how we can consciously strengthen it in the early of our careers?
See, early of the career, just take a step back, forget about the last 2 C's, only talk about the curiosity. At the start of the career, because you guys are plain slates right now, I would say, would have some of you might have some, 2 years, 3 years of experience. Because when I joined MBA, I only had 1 year of experience. Most of you would be freshers. That's how my batch
So
was.
talking about myself, like I have a previous work ex.
Of where did you work before, Abhishek?
Sir, I was working previously with Nagaro Software Private Limited.
And where is that?
As in Gurgaon, sir.
In Gurgaon. Okay,
Yes, sir.
nice.
So there I have a work ex for 14 months as an associate engineer. I was working there.
Okay. So pretty much the same thing which I did before my MBA. I mean, I was in a different industry, but okay. See, so at the start of the career, because fresh MBA graduates, what we expect from any fresh graduate is, first of all, he should be curious. He should ask a lot of questions at the start of the career. So you have to, bug your managers a lot, ask him a lot of questions, and and while you ask those questions, they also expect you to be energetic and learn during the journey, right? So it's not going to be a one-way communication. While you ask questions, they respond, but you also have to come up with a lot of innovative solutions to your managers, which makes their life easier, right? If I hire people in my team, I would want my team not only asking me questions, but also giving me solutions to the problem which I am facing in my day-to-day routine life, right? And so I have mix of experienced and as well as freshers in my team. So I don't expect freshers to come and solve the problem on day one. But eventually, if these freshers are not learning and moving alongside during the journey, it's going to be difficult for them, right? And that's typically with every leader or every manager which is there. So curiosity, very, very important. The other C's you can ignore for now. I think that's more of things that you will explore during the journey once you grow in your career, grow the ladder in your career.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, sir. We kind
So
of heard the. Is there any more question?
yes, once a recent question I am still wrong to talk. Sir, I think we have just listened about that UPI transaction is getting crossover with the OpenAI as well for in the coming days. And as soon as we are seeing that the forex transaction is also getting increasing, we have seen this Snapia, the best card I think for a traveling thing. So do you think that as a fintech, you must have been worrying for the forex and all things, and the same point of time as AI is getting integrated into very much thing. So my two question part are basically that. One is that is it like as a compliance head, you may be worrying for the AI part or you may be worrying for the forex part because the forex transaction part, RBI has said you have to do the MTM accounting, on daily basis. So, for you in the coming days, is getting a forest transaction is a challenge or is an opportunity?
No, but what is the question on the forest transaction? I could not get the question. I got your question on the other thing, but forex, what's the question?
Sir, we have seen the Scapia card, the federal card and linked with Scapia. They are getting a good pace in India. I can see that, and there are many other forex card as well. So, getting a fintech in the space of forex uh, is getting a type of challenging thing or is getting a type of a new opportunity thing as a head of compliance, you see. Because
No, so see, with any new product, I talked about initially as well. With any new product or process, challenges do comes, right? And it's a good opportunity and learning for all us as well. New product, if you are getting into a new product, you are definitely going to read some new regulation, right? So that's how you will learn. Now, if you're reading those regulations, you might be solving easier or a complex problem. In the process, you do learn. But I don't see this as a problem, or I would rather see it as an opportunity as a compliance head.
yes, sir.
Okay, sir. As we move to the last segment of our session, we usually call this a rapid fire, but here we'll call it the quick compliance round, sir. So we have heard the serious stuff, and within the segment, you've got just a few seconds to answer answer the questions and whatever comes to the mind first. So, sir, are you ready for this?
I am ready, but करण जौहर वाला मत बना देना, but ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं.
Sure, sir. So, sir, we begin. If not, you may answer whatever comes to your mind first, sir. If not compliance, what career path would you have chosen?
I would have been a risk person. So compliance and risk technically go hand in hand. It's not going to be one word answer, right? So I'm just trying to explain that.
Yes, definitely.
So risk and compliance goes hand in hand, but I was more of a risk person. I was doing a lot of number crunching, calculation of RWAs, risk-weighted assets. What is market risk? What is credit risk? What is operational risk? How do you calculate capital adequacy? How do you do those structural liquidity, interest rate sensitivity, right? So I was more of a risk person. So if not compliance, I was already on the path of becoming a more of a risk person for the bank. And finance was obviously something which I enjoyed, reading and doing all those modeling, DCF and stuff like that. So if not compliance, risk or rather finance, I would say.
So which one is more unpredictable, the regulators or the market?
Putting me in the spot, I would say both, but these days, people sitting in Mumbai are releasing circulars left, right, and center. So they are also equally unpredictable like the market.
One rule in compliance you wished could be rewritten for the modern fintech world?
There are a lot. I could not pick one.
So if you had to describe BharatPe in one word as a workplace, what would it be?
Awesome.
One regulatory change in the last 5 years that made you go like, finally, it's done.
Sorry, what's the question?
One regulatory change in the last 5 years that made you feel like, okay, finally, come on, it's done, right?
I would say the recent regulation on the PA. I think it was very much needed for the offline merchants. So if you, I don't know, you guys must be using UPI apps. So there are bunch of merchants who are there on the streets. There are QR codes everywhere. Just scan the code, make the payment, and go away, right? There was no clear regulations from RBI in terms of how do we do KYC, how do we do transaction monitoring and stuff like that. And we were waiting for the regulations, which has come very recently on 15 September last month. So it was very much needed, and now it's there. So I feel very happy about it. And I was part of the working group and committees making recommendations to RBI how to come up with it. So I feel really I feel important actually that there are few recommendations which I personally made, which has been made in the circular as is. So I feel happy about it.
The most valuable lesson you learned while working closely with the product managers?
That you have to be agile.
If you could give one piece of advice to a regulator, what would it be?
There are a lot, I would say, but if one piece of advice I would say is they have already taken steps towards it, but they need to club more circulars into one. I mean, there are a hell lot of circulars which are there. So if they can club and bring it into one kind of playbook or something like that, it will be very helpful. Very recently, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, there are close to 3,000 circulars on the NBFC side, which has been clubbed into close to 200 odd. So that is a very welcome move from the regulator. I think that should also happen in other spaces as well.
The one MBA subject that helped you the most in your real job?
I would say OB, organizational behavior.
So what's your personal mantra during the high stakes decision making moments?
I mean, if you are committed and if you have made a decision, I think you should go for it without hesitation.
So last view would be a fun and offbeat zone questions. Which compliance acronym gives you the nightmares? RBI, FIU, or AML?
RBI.
If compliance were a movie genre, what would it be? Thriller, drama, or mystery?
Thriller.
So who's more demanding, auditors, lawyers, or product managers?
Product managers.
If your life had a background track, what song would you be playing?
Sorry, if my life was a...
If your work life had a background track, what song would you be playing?
यार मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, I would say.
That's very funny.
I'm just enjoying the journey.
So if you had to explain your job to a 10-year-old, how would you do it in like one sentence or a few?
Read, and you will know what I do.
So who would you tag as the most compliance savvy celebrity?
Shah Rukh Khan.
If you could give your younger self one message from today's you, what would it be?
I would say do what you have been doing.
Okay, so finally, just one last question. One line that defines your professional philosophy.
I think commitment.
Thank you, sir. That was quite stunning. And I think we have just discovered the lighter side of compliance. Any other questions or perhaps any statements that you like to post?
Anyone else have a question, feel free to ask. But my only advice is you guys are there in BHU. Are you guys still there sitting in BHU campus or working from home? How's it going to be? Because I think it is Chhat Puja going on, and some of you might have been traveling, right?
Yes.
Some
Some of us are at home, which going to have Chattanooga, and some of us are at the campus.
Okay. No, so my personal advice is that you guys have phone these days. I mean, very better quality phones. We did not have them, and when I am sitting, so if you look at my batchmates who are very close to me, I don't know if you know them. There's someone called as Pranav Hundu. He is working with a company called Saras Analytics. He is doing a very, very great job. Keeps traveling to US and coming back to India. Then there are a few folks who are working with Indian Oil, uh, Kishan Manohar Gupta, and there's one guy called Piyush. There's one of my friend who's working in Coal India, who's in Bokaro right now. So all these people whom with I was working, I mean, very close with. Today, if we sit around, we only talk about our BHU memories. So my personal advice is that you have better quality phones, make a lot of videos, click a lot of pictures, save it in a drive. Tomorrow, after 10 years or how many years, whatever years you guys meet again, you guys would want to see those pictures and talk about that particular incident. And we really cherish those moments. Very recently, I think we met last week. Four of us were sitting and we were just talking about BHU and our time that we spent, and we really cherish those moments. And we would love to go to Banaras and go into the campus together and think about okay how our lives were. So that's my advice. I think you guys have already cleared CAT, made it through GDPI, so you guys are smart enough to understand what's good for your career. uh, Keep having a similar session or a lot more sessions. There will be I think this was episode 7, Srijan.
yes, indeed, sir. This is the seventh one.
So I think while you pass out, you need to also pass on this baton to the junior folks who should continue this trend, and that's how you guys will also learn. But one last question which I have is, okay, what all apps you guys are using for your day-to-day UPI payments? How many of you are using PhonePe?
So cred.
Okay, Cred. Okay, PhonePe. Anyone using PhonePe?
PhonePe.
Okay, BharatPe. Anyone
Yes,
using
sir.
BharatPe? BharatPe भी use कर रहे हैं?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, मैंने पर्सनली मैंने अभी 1 महीने पहले डाउनलोड किया है. मैंने कभी नहीं यूज किया था. But
BharatPe is
how
the
many of you are using?
only app which still gives cashbacks.
Correct. So there's a company called Payback Points, which we acquired. Now it is rebranded as Zillion. So we do give Zillion coins if you make payments to BharatPe. And those coins you can redeem at any merchant. So that's there. That's one of the hook products that we have. But yes. But Cred is also giving cashback, isn't it?
Sir,
They were giving-
sir, talking about cred, they are basically now into like they give some coins when I transact. They give some coins, and it is not sure they will give some cashback or not. Like I have been using cred from past like 2-3 years, and my lifetime cashback is around 300-400.
ठीक है, फ्री का है ना?
Free का ही है, ना free का ही.
नहीं, but ठीक है, nice. Okay, keep using this UPI. I think this. Acha, initially I talked about how NPCI is making those innovative solutions. So there is a product called UPI Circle which has come in, right? So this product is basically, if let's say you have a child or you have a younger one whom you want to give some bit of your money to go and transact, how do you handle that? So UPI Circle has come in as one of the product which is solving that particular purpose. Then there is something called as foreign inward remittance. That is also enabled through UPI. That has also come in. NPCI is also going outside of India. There's a company which NPCI established. It's called NPCI International Limited. And this company is going and tying up with multiple countries in terms of how UPI can be made as a payment instrument for transacting in their countries. So there are a lot of innovative stuff which is happening at NPCI. There are few recent circular which has really given us nightmare, which has come from RBI, and NPCI is helping us solve those issues. So very innovative solutions which are coming up on the UPI ecospace. But a lot of it has already happened. A lot of it will also happen as we start using more and more AI. And I would say keep watching this space. A lot of innovative stuff is going to happen.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time. Thank you so much for being with us. So this officially concludes our session. Stay tuned to BizTalks Unplugged, presented by the INR, the Insight Room.